Hello everyone, it's Madi Madison from Spectrum Art.
Welcome to Spectrum Art. If you're new here, be sure to
read the description box.
Yes, read the description box down below and find out more about Madison and I. And
what we
also,
do here.
That's right, and also make sure you guys hit that like button, please.
And ring the bell.
And subscribe. Yeah, ring the bell so we can share even more with you guys. But today we're going to be working on
embellishments.
Embellishments, that's right. But first I have a story to tell. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
Okay. Once upon a time, there were two crazy, crafty girls that had some little pieces of scrap paper left from working on a project. And unfortunately, as a typical crafter, she couldn't let go and just toss those little papers away because she saw potential in them. So now we flash forward to, yes, using them, correct. The end, ta-da. Well, kind of, we're gonna continue on. So if you guys missed it, we had worked on these. I don't know if you guys saw that video. These are,
playing cards.
yeah, they're altered playing cards. And I'll link that video down below in case you want to see it. But these are altered playing cards that are actual pockets and stuff. But when we were done with these, guess what? We had these left over. And as I was getting ready to throw them away, I thought, wait, we can do something with that. So with that being said, we decided to go ahead and do so. And that's what we're going to do today. We are going to make some really fun embellishments, which are going to serve an actual dual purpose. So let me go ahead and show you what we're going to be working with today. Now, let me go ahead and give you the supplies.
Yep.
Before I do that, I did want to share with you that this was actually inspired by, and I hope I say the name right, it's G. Kerr, or is it Guy Kerr? I am so sorry. My apologies to you if I am mispronouncing your name, but it's spelled G-I space K-E-R-R. And maybe one of you can correct me down below and let me know how her name is pronounced. But anyway, we were looking for some inspiration on what to do with these little things. And I thought, well, these are perfect for, you know, words. And so I started looking for embellishments.
Thank you for the inspiration.
Oh, thank her. Yes, thank you, Miss Guy Kerr or G. Kerr, for actually inspiring, right? Because we do like to give credit, right? That's what we do when somebody inspires us. We love to make sure that we give them credit. But anyway, we decided that we were going to go ahead and use these to make some words, and we found her video and figured we're going to go ahead and work on that and, you know, maybe give it our own twist, which we did. So let me tell you what we need for today. You're going to need just some scrap pieces of paper. They don't have to be black, although black mounts beautifully when it comes to words. We are going to need some fibers. So go through your stash, get yourself some fibers, eyelash trim, flossers, lace. Yep, exactly. Thank you, Madison. We are going to need words. Now for this, go ahead and get me the dictionary. We use a large print dictionary. That's all we did. And during a live, we asked girls in the chat for some words, short words. And so we just kind of went around and, as you can tell, you know, chopped up some words out of that dictionary. And then we went around and we colored them in different colors: pink, yellow, green, teal, purple, and pink, just to play with some colors. Oh, and blue as well. And then you'll need a paper punch. So make sure that you go ahead. And again, if you do not have, we're going to be using a 2-inch and a 1.5 inch for these items. If you do not have these, all you need to do is find yourself some glasses, cups, anything that's round, lids that you can go ahead and trace, but you'll need a large and then a smaller one, right?
Also, you can also use a bowl too.
Yes, that's right. And you're going to need some brads. So remember the video that we had actually shared with you guys that we said we have a project coming up that is going to require some pretty brads? This is the one. If you missed that video, I will link that one down below as well, so you can go back if you need to create yourself some pretty brads to go ahead and use. And then of course you're going to need some glue, because we're going to be adhering paper, and you're going to need some clear tape as well. Okay. And finally, the last thing you need will be an awl, or as Madison calls it, the pokey tool.
Pokey tool.
You're gonna need a pokey tool or a nail or something that's got a bit of a, you know, something that you can actually poke holes with, I should say.
Or a needle. Or those, when you're sewing those.
Yes, if you have a thick sewing needle, great idea, absolutely. Okay, so that's it. That's all you're gonna need to go ahead and, oh, no, one more thing. We forgot the paper. So Madison went through and selected some coordinating papers. So go ahead and show them to us one at a time. So for the green ones, you selected which papers? These. And again, this is a great way to use your scraps. So go through your scraps and find some of the thicker cardstock weight type of paper. So that'll be our green.
For blue.
This will be our blue. Got the blue.
For pink.
This will be our
Pink one.
pink, and we had two pinks, a light pink and a dark pink. So this is the light pink, if I'm not, no, this is the dark pink.
Yeah.
So that goes with this. We've got some purple papers to go with our purples. See what I mean? Just use your scraps. This is perfect.
Teal.
She got us some teals to go with our teal. Where is our teal? Here it is. Oh, that was the teal, and this is the green. Sorry.
You got some. Oh, no, pink.
The light pink. Look at those. Aren't those pretty? Good picks, Madison. And
some yellow.
And some yellow to go with our yellow words. And again, I mean, we're just making a rainbow. You can pick a collection that you have and just work with that, or some scraps that you currently have in your stash. But we wanted to do some colors just so that we can have a nice stash for when we do get ready to use them. We have one ready to go. All right, gather up your stuff and let's get started.
Yeah.
So of course, the first thing is to go ahead and clean up and get our desk all set so we can go ahead and start punching our circles. Now, remember, if you do not have punches, just trace any cups, bowls, lids, anything that you have at hand. Speaking of brads, how many names can you think of for the word brad or for brads? You probably figured out fasteners, because a lot of people still call them fasteners, or, you know, that's just a common name for them. But did you also know that they're also called split pins? Makes perfect sense, right? A split pin. It's mostly used for the mechanical counterpart of the brad nowadays, but it can correctly be still called a split pin. I thought that was pretty fascinating. The next thing that we did was we moved on to step number 2, which is what Madison is doing here. She's deciding on the layout, basically what tops and what bottoms she wants to coordinate together. After that, we went ahead and distressed all of our sides. We used our distress inks, but you can use your markers, you can use regular ink pads, you can use watercolors, whatever you have at hand to just give those edges a little bit of shading, right? Now, did you know that the head of the brad is called a pin? But the question is, do you know what the, what should we call the pointy ends can be called? They can be called leaves, as in leaves from a tree. They could be called tines, which I never heard. That's T-I-N-E-S. Or they can be called legs. So there you go. I call them prongs, which I don't know if that's a correct term for it, but I do call them prongs. So there's a few names for those as well. The next step that we did was we went ahead and used our thin scraps and we glued down those words. Remember that we had cut out of the dictionaries? Now remember that we had already inked those edges as well. So make sure that you do not skip that step, because that does give it a really, really nice finish. We are now on to step 5, which is just basically to cut out those words. Make sure you leave a black border or whatever border paper you're using all the way around. And then we're going to use our white gel pen, and you use whatever pen you have at hand to go ahead and create an accent border. We did some dots. We also did some faux stitches on some, but of course you can use X's, you can use zigzags, all kinds of fun different patterns. Every time we go to use a brad, we actually have to thank Mr. George W. McGill. He was actually an inventor and a patent attorney, and he actually patented what we know today as a brad. Now, the question is, can you guess what year he actually patented? I'll give you a few seconds. The year was 1866. So that is over 150 years ago. We've been using brads for a long, long time. Now that the words are done, the next thing we need to do is to go ahead and get our circles are ready, of course, as well. Now we get to pick some fun fibers, and that's what we went ahead and did next. We basically just went through our fibers and picked some laces. We picked some eyelash trim, and just kind of try to color coordinate it with the circles that we had on the table. The lace scraps are perfect, by the way, so if you got lots of little pieces, that's all that you need, just little tiny pieces. We happen to have a very thick lace that we wanted to use, so what I did was I went ahead and cut it into thinner strips. So if you have some thick lace, that'll still work. Next, we selected our brads. As I mentioned, we had done a video with all kinds of brads that you can make and how you get some really cute results. But for the intent of the video, we went ahead and just used our ready-made brads that we had in our stash. Next, we took our lace and simply folded it over, and I did use the awl to kind of poke a hole in there. It just makes it a little bit easier to slip in that brad. And then we took the fibers, wrapped it around the brad a couple of times, which helps to secure it. We inserted the brad into the hole that I'm making here right now, using the awl again through both circles. And then once we had slipped in our brad, we opened up the prongs in the back to secure it. The next step that I did was I went ahead and actually used a piece of tape to secure the prongs in the back. That's completely optional because once you glue it down, you won't need it at all. And then, of course, finally, we went ahead and took our little cute words where it all started with those little scraps of black paper and glued them down. And now, as you can see, we have a wonderful hinged embellishment. And basically, we just go ahead and continue to make more using the same steps. As we craft along, then I just want to share one other tidbit with you guys, which I thought was phenomenal to know. Did you know that there is a pair of moccasins from as early as 1900 with metal brad designs? That's right. Yep. I think it's pronounced Kiowa. It's spelled K-I-O-W-A. And that was a Native American tribe. They were actually blinging out their clothes and they were creating haute couture long before any of the fashion designers and even us crafters thought of actually using metal brads for anything other than office work or paperwork. So there you have it. Kudos to the Kiowa Native American tribe. Inspiring since early 1900s. And so now we continue crafting, and you guys
craft along with us.
That's right. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do this, yeah? All right, and don't forget to go ahead and stay tuned till the end. I got more information for you guys. And now we have a collection of just great colors. And again, you work with what you have, right? Whatever your scraps are in your stash, that's all you need. And some brads, which again, we have made. In this case, I actually went ahead and made some more neutral ones and used plain gold brads, and they still look totally cute. See, I did actually prepare the words for those. They're right here. But after preparing them, mounting them, and doing the faux stitching, I thought about it and I realized, you know what? I do want to keep those without anything on them for the purpose that if I want to do something more specific, like an initial, somebody's name, a picture, maybe a date, then I can have those ready to go without actually committing to a specific word or sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and keep these blank. I wanted to show you the functionality, how it actually functions, right? Because we talked about how they're made with scraps. We talked about how they're pretty flat, so they could be put inside of your journals and, you know, still not harm your signatures. But I went ahead and took one and I glued it down. And all that you're going to do is basically take and apply glue all around the back and then just glue that bottom piece onto your page. Once that becomes affixed onto your page, then you'll be able to actually take this and pivot, right, and rotate it and have a great journaling spot, or maybe a, you know, a child's picture, or, you know, whatever, your mom's picture if you're creating a Mother's Day journal or a sentiment card. Then you just go ahead and do that there, and then you can also close it this way. But the cool thing is you still have this, of course, to write on. But let me get a sticky and I'll show you guys. But the idea is that it's also a tuck. So you could tuck something in like that. And still, again, it's really, really flat. It can still go inside of your journals. So now all of a sudden you've got a beautiful embellishment which serves multiple functionalities, right? It's multifunctional, meaning you can journal, you can add pictures, you can pivot it, and you can still use it as a tuck if you so want to add that into your journals, right? So we hope that you guys will try this. We hope that you give us some feedback and let us know. I want to thank once again all those who have inspired us as well. And we will see you guys all here very soon. Yes? All right. Have a blessed day. Bye.